Xbox may be looking to expand out their cloud gaming with more tiers, more affordable options here for people who just want the cloud. We have our first game that is certified here for the ROG Xbox Ally. Shenmue 3 gets a brand new announcement. It is now coming to Xbox, so some cool stuff there. Black Ops 7, we have some more information on just what it will be launching with in terms of the maps. There is a Nintendo Direct today, some sales numbers from Europe, and a rumor about a future PlayStation showcase. So before we do get into it all, if you do enjoy daily gaming news and content, hit the subscribe, share the video, like the video. I ask this every day because it really does help get the channel out there more and helps me continue to bring the content to you. So I do appreciate it, but for now, let's get into it. So right now, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate is the only way you can access Xbox Cloud Gaming, which is a feature that you would think Xbox will want to have on its own for people who would just want to subscribe to that, have it within Game Pass Ultimate, but also have their own tier for a far cheaper price for people who just want to play games. They don't care about actually having real hardware to download games on. They don't care about having the best possible experience with the highest frame rates and resolutions and everything. They just want access to content. You think they'd have a separate Xbox Cloud Gaming tier? I think it's going to come, and we have more hints that this is coming from Jason Ronald and Xbox. He was on the Xbox official podcast where we got information on various things from Game Pass to the ROG Ally, just to the direction of Xbox and everything. So it was a good episode. Go check that one out. But here's what he is saying about the future tiers of cloud gaming and the future tiers that you're going to be able to subscribe to. We previously did hear during the FTC, the Xbox versus PlayStation and ABK stuff, everything that was going on there as to what they were kind of planning out here when it comes to Xbox Cloud Gaming, that they were working on a separate dedicated version of Xbox Cloud Gaming, and CFO Tim Stewart hinted a few months later that there could be a free version of Xbox Cloud Gaming in exchange for ads. So they're thinking about many different ways on what they could do to expand this out more. But Jason Ronald, who is Microsoft's VP of Next Generation, appeared on the podcast, and what he says is one of the things we see is there's lots of players who use Game Pass Ultimate to access the cloud, whether that's the primary way they play or an additional way to play on the go. I think for us, it really opens up the opportunity to make it much more affordable and make it more accessible to players, whether that's going into new regions or new ways to actually access the Xbox cloud. So this is another hint here that they are planning on doing this. I'm surprised, to be completely honest, in general, that they haven't announced and released this tier for Game Pass yet. You'd think that they would want to at this point, because it's a no-brainer to get people to just subscribe to the service, maybe $10 a month or something, and you get to play your games on any device. I use Game Pass Ultimate as like probably the primary way that I do consume my video games these days. And I do use the cloud a decent amount on my handheld cloud streaming device when I'm sitting in bed. Or I also have that controller that connects to your phone, and I use that when I'm on the go and stuff. So I do use it, and I feel like they've improved upon it greatly over the last number of years. Whereas a few years ago, I was skeptical as to how good this cloud gaming thing was going to be, but Xbox has definitely continued to make it better. They still have a ways to go here to compete with something like NVIDIA GeForce Now. They have to have the 4K resolutions and stuff, and I think eventually they will get to that point. But obviously having a tier here for, I would say, the more casual gamer side of things, where they don't really care about anything other than playing some games that they're interested in, don't care about if there's a little bit of lag or a little bit of granularity, graininess on the actual screen itself. I don't know if those words make sense for this, but if it's not the best looking version of the game when you're downloading them and playing them on a high powered hardware, this is who this will target. And then it'll be targeting the secondary market for people who do care about that stuff, but having their hardware to play the games at the best possible way, but still want to have access to something when they are on the go, and it's just not feasible to actually bring hardware with you. So that is interesting. And then there's obviously going to be the other solution for people who never want cloud but always want to download stuff, which will be the handheld PCs and the Xbox ROG Ally that we're set to see very soon here with Gamescom. And one of the games here that is officially certified, the first official game you could say that is certified for the ROG Xbox Ally. It's a very fitting game to have this, and this is Gears of War Reloaded, the first game to be ROG Xbox Ally certified. They put out this tweet here saying Reloaded releases on August 26th, and it's officially ROG Xbox Ally certified. Get ready to relive the legend in the most epic way possible on the go. Hashtag Xbox Gamescom. So we're going to see a lot here at Gamescom this upcoming week. It does start today. We have the opening night live and everything. Then we have the Xbox streams and booths where they're showing off a bunch of games. There will be lots to talk about in terms of content. We're still kind of waiting. What is that other collaboration between Asus and Xbox? It does seem like it is just a controller, but maybe they are hinting at something even bigger. They said it's going to be exceptional. They did a tease, so I can't wait to see what that actually is. But it's cool we're seeing more of these certified games, so you will know exactly which ones will work. This is very similar to what Steam does with the Steam Deck. And hopefully when you're in your ROG Xbox Ally and you're going through Game Pass and you're going through your catalog of games in that new Xbox user interface, it easily will tell you which games run great on here, which games are completely certified, other ones that have some issues but can still run, the ones that just won't work. That will be something that'll make it easier to access and pick and play the games that you do want to play. So Gears of War Reload, the first one here to be certified for the ROG Xbox Ally. Xbox got a big release for people who are a fan of this series. Now, I feel like this is one that didn't really live up to the expectations, but it is cool that it is finally coming. Shenmue 3 finally getting a release here on Xbox with the enhanced version. Now, Shenmue is an Xbox game at its core. When you think back to the original one, it came from the Dreamcast, and then when the Dreamcast died, they ported over Shenmue 2 here to the Xbox itself, the original Xbox. So a lot of people experienced it for the first time on the original Xbox. So it was kind of a shame when Shenmue 3 did not land on Xbox, but here it is finally with the enhanced edition. It says here, Shenmue 3 is finally coming to Xbox. It was announced today that the 2019 title will be making the Xbox debut with the Shenmue 3 Enhanced. Then you get a bunch of stuff here. Enhanced graphics and performance, 4K texture uplift, DLSS FSR support, increased MPC density, classic camera mode, gameplay tweaks, improved interactions, menu and UX enhancements, and optionality first, which this one just means all major changes can be toggled to preserve to the original experience for the purist. So that is cool to see. As we know, when it comes to Shenmue itself, it is a very influential game. It had a big influence on many games in the future that came after it, but the first one was on Dreamcast with Shenmue 1, and then you had Shenmue 2, which did launch on the original Xbox. And when Shenmue 3 didn't launch on Xbox at first, it was kind of odd because a lot of people play that. That was an exclusive to the OG Xbox. I remember having a friend who didn't even have an Xbox, but bought Shenmue 2 just to play it on mine because he was a fan of the series. Hopefully at some point they release some sort of trilogy where you can get them all and you can play them everywhere, but we'll see. Cool to see there. I may check it out. I've heard pretty bad things about Shenmue 3. It didn't really meet the expectations, but still kind of interested to just see where it went here after number 2. We got some more information about Black Ops 7. We're going to get a lot more at Gamescom this week, so it'll be good to finally get more information and reveals for it, because I feel like everyone's talking about Black Ops 7 now, either counting it out or comparing it to Battlefield 6, but we just don't really know too much about the game itself because they haven't shown us anything. So it's kind of hard to make any judgment at this point. We're going to get a lot more this week. I'm sure we'll get an announcement for some sort of beta in the future and everything. And then obviously the official release date, it looks like that is coming in November. But now we know that it will feature, well, I guess this is a rumor at this point, but these are generally do come true. It will feature 16 6v6 maps at launch, which that's a decent amount of maps, I believe, comparing it to the other ones, or at least it's in the same realm as where the other games to release in terms of the amount of maps you get to play. But this is the latest leak here, revealing 16 6v6 maps will be available at launch. And this comes via the Ghost of Hope. And according to the recent post, 16 6v6 maps will be at launch. Out of these, there are 13 original maps and 3 remastered ones from Black Ops 2, which is great. I like the remastered maps. I know some people are looking at this and saying it's just like copy and pasting, but I like the Black Ops 2 maps. I like seeing them back in the game remastered. Bringing in a few here with way more brand new maps is definitely something that I'm happy to see. We've seen people kind of trying to make fun of this, that they were just going to take all of the old maps, but that clearly is not the case from what the Ghost of Hope is saying here, was 13 original 6v6 maps and then the 3 remastered ones. They also say there are 2 maps at launch for the skirmish large scale mode with wingsuits that was leaked before. So post-launch content is expected to be plentiful. I think Black Ops 7 is going to be huge. I think it is going to be a massive game. I don't think Battlefield 6 will beat it in terms of sales or player base or anything along those lines. And I think there will be tons of content because they can kind of take, you could take some of the stuff they have from Black Ops 6 and just kind of continue that. This is just another one in the series, but they are already looking like at launch, people will have enough to play for a decent amount of time before they continue with the support after it does launch. And Call of Duty does a good job at continuously supporting their game. I'm very excited for what the campaign will bring, because that is something that I'm going to play first. My way that I play Call of Duties now has completely changed from back in the day. I would generally jump into the multiplayer and not touch the campaign for a long time, or if I even touched it at all. But now I always do the campaign first, then I play the multiplayer. So I'm excited to see where the story goes, because Black Ops 6 campaign was very good. Let's see if they can top it here with Black Ops 7. All right, couple more things here. There is a Nintendo Direct today, all focused on a singular game, and that is Kirby Air Rider. So if you're a fan of Kirby, you're a fan of Kirby Air Riders, if you have a Nintendo Switch 2, then you're going to want to watch this one. It is actually looking like it's going to be a pretty long Nintendo Direct here. They say join us August 19th at 1400 UK time for Kirby Air Riders Direct with director Masahiro Sakurai. And it is roughly 45 minutes long and offers an in-depth look at the upcoming Nintendo Switch 2 game. So I was shocked that this was one of the games that they were bringing back, you could say, because it's another racing game and they already have Mario Kart World, but I'll see what it's about. These games are fun. The original one was fun back in 2003 when it came out on the GameCube for Kirby Air Ride. So I'm sure this will be good. Nintendo generally doesn't miss with their first party releases. They always release good stuff. Even if it's not your cup of tea, objectively, their games are fun and well made. Assassin's Creed Shadows, we have more info here on how well it is selling, how well it did sell, at least in Europe. It's one of these games where you still have people that will never admit this game did do good because they want the narrative to be that it absolutely failed because of all the controversies that were leading up to the release of the game. That is not the case. Everything we've seen about Assassin's Creed Shadows, even from what Ubisoft has said, that a game was a success and met their expectations and did very, very well. And we have more info here about just how well it did sell. In Europe, it is the best-selling new game of 2025 so far. So we're in August. We're almost done the year. I mean, we're 4 months left in 2025, and Assassin's Creed Shadows came out in March, and it is still the best-selling game for 2025. Now, I'm sure that will get passed when something like FIFA comes out. That thing always sells very high, or Call of Duty when that comes out as well. But this is the info here, continuously showing the success of this game. And I'm still playing Assassin's Creed Shadows. I like it. I really, really enjoy it. It's one of my favorite games that I've played this year. And it's a beautiful game with great gameplay and decent story. The story in Ubisoft games are always, I would say, just average, which this kind of follows a line in that. But I enjoy their open world games. And they say here, in what feels like the greatest period of turmoil for Ubisoft in the company's history, Assassin's Creed Shadows continues to be the bright spark of life the company needs. And a lot was riding on this game before it released. People were saying this, if it doesn't succeed, this could be the end of Ubisoft. Clearly, that wasn't the case. So it's good that it did end up succeeding. It says, to clarify, Shadows is at the time of writing the best-selling PC and console title in Europe of all games released in 2025. It's not the best-selling game overall, since that marker, unsurprisingly, was EA Sports FC 25. I mean, it always is there. And when FC 26 releases, it will pass Assassin's Creed Shadows. You can pretty much bet that those games sell like insanely every single year that it does come out. But in terms of new games released this year, Assassin's Creed Shadows beat Monster Hunter Wilds, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Elden Ring Night Ring, The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered, which we saw was on top of charts on PlayStation, on top of charts on Xbox and everything. So did very, very well. And they also say, according to the GSD figure, Split Fiction is the only game to get close to Shadows as far as 2025 releases are concerned. So Split Fiction as well has done really well there. Joseph Fares games always are doing good, especially after winning that Game of the Year with It Takes Two. I wonder where Split Fiction will land at the Game Awards this year. Apparently it's better than It Takes Two, so we'll see if it gets a nomination as well. And finally, if you are a PlayStation fan, I hope this happens. even if you're not a PlayStation fan, I hope this happens, but I hope it's a showcase, not just another state of play, because those are always underwhelming as they barely focus on their own games and they focus mainly on third-party stuff. But there is a rumor coming here from Jeff Grubb, who has basically been right in the past on most of these claims when it comes to state of plays and stuff. And it says here, I've heard they're planning a state of play or maybe a showcase, but probably a state of play for the end of September or before the end of September. And I feel like it kind of falls in line to when they usually do their shows. I really hope it is a showcase. I'm doubtful simply because we know what's happening at PlayStation with the amount of games that they've canceled with the live service games as a service push. What will they even have to show? Because a lot of their studios would have been working on those games. Games have been canceled, so they're going to have to be starting something new, which would not be ready, I think, at this point to be able to show anything off at a PlayStation showcase. So if they do have a show, I hope it's that, but I'm just trying to think what they could end up showing right now. Maybe Sony Santa Monica's next game, probably some more Ghost of Yotei, I guess, just before it releases, although we don't think we need to see any more of that. Will we see something else that Insomniac is working on? Will we see more of the Heretic Prophet game? So there are things that could be shown. I hope it is a showcase because we need one here from PlayStation. It's been too long here before they give us a slate of the things that they are working on. We don't even need to get release dates, just more information as to what is being developed here from Sony's PlayStation Studios. And then Fair Games. I think at some point we got to hear more about Fair Games, or the speculation and thoughts that the game is canceled is going to continue to increase, as it is looking even more and more here like that could be a Concord situation with that one, with the whole Jade Raymond leaving the studio, and we don't really know where this game is at this point. But I will end the video there. If you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up. If you are new here, hit that subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next video.